Employee engagement is one of the largest, most influential components to organizational productivity and profitability. It's been proven to be incredibly effective time and time again in academic and industry studies, in organizational psychology publications, and in personal testimonials from companies who have committed to improving it. Now, here's just a few examples of the data that supports how impactful it is to organizational success. Companies with engaged employees see 233% greater customer loyalty and a 26% greater annual increase in revenue. Organizations that have more than 50% employee engagement retain more than 80% of their customers. Highly engaged workplaces have 59% less turnover. This is why employee engagement is so important. Higher customer loyalty and retention, higher profitability, and lower employee turnover. And these are just a few of the benefits. So the next question should be, when it comes to creating employee engagement, what part of the workplace has the biggest influence? Well, a manager or supervisor directly influences a shocking 70% of an employee's motivation and engagement. How engaged an employee is almost completely the result of that person's manager or supervisor. And that is significant. If you are a manager or supervisor right now, this is critical for you to know. So I guess our next question is, how do you improve employee engagement in order to get those benefits that I just mentioned? Well, don't worry, I got you covered. So let's talk about the 4 pillars of engagement. The first of the 4 pillars of engagement is recognition. It's a fairly self-evident statement that people want to be appreciated and recognized for their efforts. So why do organizations often miss the mark? Why does my team not respond when I try and give them praise? Why is there a disconnect between telling my team that they've done a good job and any increase in happiness or satisfaction? Well, to answer these questions, which have been posed to us by many clients in the past, we have to understand that recognition at work cannot be an isolated effort. Rather, it needs to be a consistent set of expectations and communication. So what is recognition at work? Well, it's the efforts that organizations make to provide appreciable, timely, and authentic acknowledgement of an employee's behavior, efforts, or results that support the organization's goals and values. Now, a key part of this definition are the words appreciable, timely, and authentic. Appreciable because if the way you show recognition does not resonate with the person receiving the benefits, the good you do may be lost or miscommunicated. It's important that the recognition be timely in order to be relevant. But most important, it needs to be authentic. Without authenticity, it's not really appreciation. It's merely confirmation. You're just acknowledging that something happened or took place. Now, for more information on recognition at work, we're going to soon be releasing a short animated video that you might really enjoy. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss it. The second of the 4 pillars of engagement is autonomy. If employees do not feel they have the flexibility or freedom in their work, they will not be able to give you their best. But flexibility and freedom are not just about being able to work from home or having more vacation time. It's about being trusted and supported to be as productive as possible. Now, autonomy at work has become a popular topic of conversation, especially with the effects that the pandemic has had on work-life balance. Author Daniel Pink touches on the topic of autonomy and the importance of being self-directed and having work-life balance. But autonomy at work is more than just work-life balance or reducing employee oversight. It's the efforts that organizations make to build trust and responsibility in employees, providing limited freedom in how they shape their work environment. The important thing to understand is that we build trust through limited freedom. Without trust, any effort we make to provide more autonomy with our teams will be superficial at best and potentially damaging at worst. Now, we have another short animated video coming soon on autonomy at work, so make sure you don't miss it. The third in our 4 pillars of engagement is mastery. It's the idea that in order for someone to be fully engaged in their work, they need to be able to use and develop their skills. So if we're being honest, the majority of us can admit to there have been times in our careers where we felt bored or unchallenged by the work that we're required to do. Building mastery at work is how you can combat this problem. Now, we define mastery at work as the efforts that organizations make to support employees' skills by identifying and valuing them, using them effectively, and developing them for greater achievement. When employees feel that their employer values their future and makes tangible efforts to invest in their development, this allows the employee to see a real future with the company. In fact, 94% of employees would stay with their current role longer if they felt the organization invested in their professional development. This is something that is becoming more and more important as the workplace and as the labor market sees a generational shift. Now, we do have an animated video on creating mastery at work, so make sure you check it out right here. The last of the 4 pillars of engagement is purpose. How do you instill work with a sense of purpose? This is a question that many authors have written about and is the topic of importance for anyone seeking to tap into the motivations of the workplace. When discussing purpose at work, there are 2 excellent authors that are worth mentioning, Daniel Pink again, and Simon Sinek. Both authors have written on the topic of purpose, but each take a slightly different perspective. Pink looks at purpose from the perspective of clearly identifying your why and communicating it internally to your team as a form of motivation. Now, Sinek looks at purpose from the perspective of identifying your why and communicating it outwards to your customers. Now, both authors have excellent videos and books written on the topic of identifying your big picture why and helping you communicate your why to the audience of your choice. Unfortunately, human motivation is not centered merely on one big picture ideal. And this is where the theories of both authors tend to fall short. When discussing purpose at work, we define it as the efforts that organizations make to align business outcomes with their employees' internal sense of direction and meaning. If employees do not feel like they can find a sense of meaning and purpose in their jobs, then they will be less motivated. And we are also going to be launching an animated video on purpose at work, so keep an eye out for that one. Now, the best way to remember these 4 pillars is with the acronym RAMP. Each workplace may have an easier time incorporating some of the pillars than others. For example, autonomy might be a little challenging at your workplace if the nature of the job is fixed and time-oriented, like, say, manufacturing or customer service. But the key is to understand which of the 4 pillars would have the biggest impact to ramp up your engagement where you work. But the truth is, recognition is likely the most universal. Creating appreciable, timely, and authentic recognition to your employees will likely be your highest impact for pretty much everyone. Now, we have some excellent on-demand courses on each of the 4 pillars on our training portal, Roman 3 Academy. I strongly encourage you to check them out. They can help you make a big impact on your workplace today. But for now, that's all from me. Be sure to comment on this video. I would love to hear from you about how employee engagement is approached in your workplace and how you would attempt to address the 4 pillars where you work. Until next time.